Niall McGrath here for SevereMMA.com, joined by Mr. Chris Fields ahead of his big fight next Friday in the 3 Arena against Andy Clamp. First of all, Chris, great to have you back on. The man with the worst name in mixed martial arts.
Worst best name.
how,
Worst
are,
best name.
how are you, my friend? Keeping well? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah. Usually don't see each other though. We have to do video now for some reason. I don't
Yeah, no,
know.
that's Graham being anal about things. We're just chatting about off air there, but yeah, how's life? The gym's kicked off. You're a dad as well.
Yeah, I grew up. I don't know. One day I was out in the piss with my mates and enjoying life. Next day I've grey hair and bills.
how
Oh,
is
what happened?
how is it being, Chris? Obviously, the gym. It's something I think you've always wanted to do. Finally, it's up and running. You told me there off air you've over 200 members now. Things are really sort of kicking off. Yeah, how's that been? Have you really enjoyed that sort of aspect of your mixed martial arts career?
Yeah, this is something I've been kind of building towards for a long time. Something I've always liked doing anyway. Even when I was fighting, I was coaching. So it's just something I've always kind of done. Even before I started coaching in SBG, I was kind of coaching anyway. I was
Yeah.
helping the guys that were coming through and stuff. So a natural progression for me, and it's actually kind of weirdly enough improved my game a little bit. It's kind of kicked me on a bit, and
How so?
it's kind of like I feel like I'm showing techniques to the guys. I'm like, I don't know why I don't use that anymore. And then if you're showing techniques, you really have to go in depth with certain people because they're idiots to show them how the technique works. Like a lot of times you're blessed with, especially with MMA guys. A lot of them are athletic and stuff, so they kind of pick things up very quickly. But then if you're shown to just ordinary Joe Soaps or whoever, like people that just want to train for fun, which is probably 99% of the people that walk into the gym, you really have to break the technique down, which then makes you in turn understand it and do
So,
it better.
so you're drilling it more effectively.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And you're thinking about it in your brain more, yeah.
So do you think
Yeah.
that's something that it's going to be a big benefit to you in this fight? Do you think the little
Yeah, well,
technical
I feel
things?
like another thing is having the gym. Like I've lived in Swords my whole career, and I've trekked all the way across to SBG every day
Yeah,
to train.
that's a big old
And now
drive.
I have my own place down the road.
Yeah.
I just drove to work. I could walk down to work in 5 minutes. So I go down, I train, I get stuck in, I do my training, then I do my coaching, and then I go home, and then I come back down, I do my training, I do my coaching. It's easy.
Is a welcome distraction. Obviously, it is by the sounds of it. It seems to be something that's been really good because a lot of guys who would have had gyms, sometimes they take away from their fighting ability and their focus going into fights. It seems to you that it's obviously going to be a big benefit for you.
Yeah, if I was running the gym by myself, I think it would have been tough. But I have Tom there, and I've got coaches and like Dylan Chuk and Phil White and Ashling Daly, and so like if anyone needs to fill the gaps, they can. If I'm stuck, if I need to go training somewhere, they'll take a class from me. It's never any issue. If I was running it by myself and trying to teach every class, I can imagine it being a bit tough at the moment. It would have been very tough for the fight camp.
You obviously have a kid now as well, Chris. You mentioned that it's very important for you. Obviously, the money isn't too great fighting in Europe. This is obviously something, life after fighting you have to think about as well.
Yeah, and yeah, you don't want to leave this with nothing,
Yeah,
nothing at all, and then be going back to working a normal job or like the thing for me would be imagine me walking into a normal job now. Well, Mr. Fields, what have you been doing for the last 9 years? Fighting dudes in a cage, Am I going to be able to get this job in GameStop or no? No, okay.
does that frustrate you? And we get it as well. Obviously, I'm in the mixed martial arts media, and we constantly seem to be defending the sport. And I listened to a radio interview you did the other night as well, and you were asked that question. It's getting a bit tiresome now, that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what the way I'm answering now is I kind of just
Yeah,
say, look, I don't need to defend it anymore. It's a sport. You don't like it, don't watch it.
yeah,
That's it. Like, we don't, and all of us, including yourself, because I'm
yeah.
sure you get it as much
I
as
do. Yeah.
anyone, we shouldn't. I think by defending it, we're giving them the right to challenge it. So we just need to say, look, don't watch it if you don't like it.
Definitely. I think we leave it at that. Fuck that. We don't want to be talking about that any longer.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask you about the Paul Craig fight. Obviously, it's something you had your eyes on. It fell out. Does that leave a sour taste in your mouth that fight didn't happen?
Yeah, I would have liked it. I think fans would have liked it. I think BAMMA would have
100%.
liked it. So I think it was a good fight. I think it was it was a good matchup. I think it really suited me to matchup, but I'm sure he felt the same. I think it was something everyone wanted to see, and then it didn't happen. And not to take anything away from the other guys that fought that night, that BAMMA was on, but it felt like it built up to a crescendo that never came. You know,
Yeah.
it was building towards that fight. You know, so yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown. It is what it is. You know, like I would have liked him to like give the real reason why he didn't fight. You know, instead of saying he had an injury, he didn't fight
Yeah.
because he had an opportunity to get signed. If he had messaged me and said that, I would have totally understood. I would have been like, cool, man.
Did you
I
hear anything
understand
from
that.
him at all?
Sorry.
Did you hear anything from him at all?
No.
No,
And
nothing.
like you know, I know there was a bit of back and forth now, but if he'd have messaged me and said, "Look, dude, I have an opportunity to get
Yeah,
signed, and I don't want to risk it," I would have been like, "Yeah, go for it, man. Do your thing.
100%.
Get
Yeah,
someone else." But I didn't get the fight because of that, because of how late he pulled out. You know.
yeah, yeah. Very frustrating, obviously. Andy Clamp is your new opponent. Coming up now next week. I want to talk to you about that. There's been a little bit of shit talk. You're a guy. I think you like that sort of element of it. Do you feel, though, it's necessary for you in your build up to the fight to have a little bit of trash talk, have a little bit of heat going into it?
Not at all anymore. You know, I used to be a little bit more emotional when I was younger. I was actually like when I first started, I seemed quite calm and all. Now I was a bit of a
It's because you're
little.
a daddy now, Chris. That's why you. I think
Yeah, I
a
don't
bit,
know
a bit
what happened,
calmer.
but I used to be a little. I suppose that's why the killing was the nickname then, and it's not anymore. To be honest, I'd be quite happy if these fights took place in my gym and there was about 10 people watching, you know, and the guy just showed up and we touched gloves and went at it. But like, you know, to sell things and all this stuff has to happen. You know,
Of course.
that's the entertainment side of fighting.
What were you
You know, if
calling
you
him?
want to make any,
You were calling him a wildling. I thought that was brilliant.
only the nerds got that one, huh? Just the nerds.
Game of
Yeah,
Thrones. Love
I
it.
couldn't understand. Dude, his accent is so strong. Like his accent is really strong.
Yeah,
And like
it
I've
was
fought a
strong.
lot of English guys, been around a lot of English guys, but his accent was like crazy strong. I really couldn't understand what he was saying.
I was laughing
So
my arse off when I heard that. I thought it was a brilliant one. One of the best ones I've heard in a long time. Call him a wildling. Holy God. What Jon Snow? Jon Snow's missus. That's who he talks like. Oh, Jesus, I shouldn't have said that. I'll probably get in trouble for that one. But all right. The focus has obviously changed for you now a little bit,
yeah.
of the outcome, the end goal of your career. What is that, Chris?
For me right now, like the BAMMA thing's huge because it's part of the legacy I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
in the sport, you know. And everyone wants a first, so I want to be the first to have held both Cage Warriors and BAMMA titles. I don't think that's done
Yeah,
before. Maybe one of
don't
you
think
guys.
so. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't. And I'm going to be the first Irish guy to win a BAM. So both those things are huge, you know, and they'll be there forever with me. And then, you know, I just want to fight a lot next year. I want to get really busy 2017 into 2018. Try and have 7 or 8 fights over 18 months. And then that'll be me. Done. Dusted. Finito.
How's the body, Chris? How's everything? Is everything holding
Great.
up? You're
Like
a year
I
younger
know
than
that
me.
I know this bullshit is said all the time, but I'm better. Like I am physically and mentally better than I've ever been for a fight. Like I feel different. I think it only took 20 fights and loads of fuck ups, but I finally found the right kind of training for me, the amount I do, and the way I train and the intensity and all that kind of stuff. I kind of figured it out.
What is
But
that? Do you take more breaks? Do you let your body rest a little bit more as you've got older?
yeah,
How do
and
you
you know,
pencil it together?
I like because I don't have to weight cut and all, I can concentrate a little bit more on skill development, which I'm really enjoying at the moment. I put back on the gi recently, I hadn't more the gi
Brilliant.
in a long time. John had been at me for a while, and then when me and Tom opened the business together, Tom is like full on about BJJ, like he's a
Yeah.
BJJ guy, you know. So he was on me a bit. And he was like, "Look, it's ridiculous. You're not wearing like you're still wearing a blue belt. You're a joke. Like you're a sandbagging prick and all this kind of shit, just slagging me constantly." So I put back on the gi with the intention of trying to get the grades now. And I remember John said something to me a while ago. I used to have a little joke. I used to call myself a white belt for life. So I just wanted to be like, I didn't care about grades, man. And John, I remember, made a statement to me a good few years ago. He was saying, look, your aim should be to be a black belt in everything rather than a white belt for life. So I'm kind of starting to come around to that a little bit
Okay.
more. That's age too.
Cool.
With these grey hairs comes great responsibility, you know?
How is the weight, Chris? 185 was a big problem for you. To cut an awful lot of weight. At 205, I know you have to cut some weight still. Obviously it's a lot easier for you. Is it that much easier than 85? Does your body feel better? Talk to me through
Yeah,
the
I think
situation.
yeah, that's a major thing for me. Like right now, I'm probably like today I was 98 kilos waking up.
Okay.
Like first thing in the morning. So that's 5 kg to get off. usually I'd be 5 kg the morning of the weigh-in
Oh,
after going to the sauna the night before,
rough.
like, and being dry for 36 hours, so this is like, it's like, I think it really improved my performance. I felt a lot better at light heavy in the
Yeah.
last fight. I think what happened with me was I started fighting when I was 25, but like, I'm a tall, lean, skinny, whatever way you want to put it, guy, and I think my body grew as I was fighting, and so the cut was just getting bigger each time, and then it
Yeah.
just got worse and worse, and I started to look grey and gaunt and sick and heroin addicty, and so it's time to cop on and finally grow into this body of mine.
El Storco Blanco, was that
El Storco Blanco, it was El Storco Greyo a few times as well.
Are you still as excited, Chris, as you were, back in 2008 when this all, this MMA buzz and you got into the sport? Do you still get that buzz, that excitement, fight week?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've got back. I think I kind of lost sight of a lot of things, and I started chasing things. And
Why
when I
was
started
that?
doing it,
Why did you lose sight of things?
I think what
Before?
happens is you go into it just wanting to do something, then you get a little bit of success, and you want more success, and then that success isn't good enough, and you want bigger success, and then before you know, you're Conor, and you need 3 titles, two world titles isn't enough. You know,
Yeah,
that kind of way,
yeah.
like who would ever dreamed we'd have a UFC world champion,
Crazy.
and then we have a two-time world champ or two weight division world champion, and now he's going to want a third weight division. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the more, like, when you have success, it's easy to lose sight of why you started doing the thing in the first place. And for me, it was never about money. It was always about just love doing it. I just love doing it. So that's what I kind of have back. I think it's making me a
Brilliant.
happy fighter, is a dangerous fighter.
Brilliant, 100%. I think we saw that last time out. Andy Clamp, you look at his record. I don't think he's faced anyone as experienced as good as he did. Do you feel that way? Looking at his record going into this
Yeah,
fight?
he's kind of, a lot of hand-picked opponents. Something that kind of, and you'll see that from our gym in general. Like the SBG guys, it's not something we've ever done. We just go out and fight whoever's there. That seems to be the way for a lot of teams in England to kind of build the guys up, and that's fine. That's their way of doing things. But I think he's going to get a fright when he feels that level difference, the skill difference, the strength difference, just the physicality of someone that's a proper professional. I don't think he's had that.
John has 11 fighters on this card. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
Obviously, you've been a big part of the whole SBG, the rise to prominence of the gym. Pretty special night with all your colleagues. 11 fighters as well, which is just amazing for
Yeah,
John.
I'm always excited, and I kind of, weirdly enough, I find it like a privilege to fight in a card with all the younger guys coming up. It's exciting for me to see them come through, and luckily enough, I've been part of some of their developments, the likes of Dylan and stuff. I've been a part of their development, coached them along the way and stuff. So it's great to see what these guys are going to go on and do in the sport, and it's great to be part of the shows with them. And
Definitely,
kind of,
I sort of pinch myself sometimes when I look at this card now for next week, and you look at the Irish guys top to bottom, north and south. It's almost like at the moment is sort of a second coming. Do you feel that way as well? You were the first guys, and now we have this younger generation like Dylan. We have, the likes of Alan Philpott. We have Rhys McKee. These kind of guys all over the country. Do you feel as though there's going to be a real big imprint in the next sort of year or two?
I kind of see Philpott is almost in between.
Yeah,
he's like,
of course, because he's been
almost
around for
part
so
of the
long.
first wave, and the second wave was saying he's still quite young, but he's been fighting a long time. I see like the likes of Dylan and Rhys. I really see as like, the two of them really excite me. Those two guys, I see so much potential. I enjoy watching them fight.
Do you get almost more excited now that you're coaching, looking at these guys and seeing these guys,
Yeah,
and maybe
want
sort of
them.
picking
I want
your
them.
mind?
But I see there's just a lot of technical ability in both of those guys. The way they move, the way they and how good they are in all ranges. It's exciting times, man. It's exciting times.
Big time.
Just what we got to make sure is they have the same grit as the first group. Like,
yeah,
that was the big thing. Like,
the gritty old guard, like Chris here.
Yeah. In my day,
You're not that old, Chris. Jesus, I'm a year older than you. Jesus, even though I look like
you're really old then.
I look
You're
like
really
I'm in my
old.
20s, though, in fairness. Chris, just one final one for you. You haven't had a TKO since 2012. It's something I know you love, smashing your elbows and kneeing guys. That's something you must be looking for on Friday night.
Yeah, I'll be looking to take top control and pound them out. If he offers me a choke, I'll take it just to be nice, but I'll probably land a few heavy shots beforehand. So
Chris, before we wrap it up, where can the guys sign up for the gym and get involved and get you to coach them?
We're on the main street, smack bang on the main street in Swords. We're straight across from a pub that you can't forget the name of. It's called the Cock Tavern. So yeah, we're literally straight across the street. We're the old we used to be the old or our building was the old Foss office. So we're doing more for the youth of Swords than they ever did.
Brilliant. Guys, go check it out. Chris, I'm really looking forward to the fight and the fight card as a whole next week. Do appreciate the time. And where can the guys get you on social networks? It's Chris Fields MMA, isn't it?
Chris Fields MMA on Twitter, and then I actually just make friends. I'm not one of these guys that has his own page. I just make friends with people on Facebook. Unless you're a dick. If you're a dick, you're right. If you're a dick or racist, don't add me. I'm not going to be friends with you. All right.
Chris is old school. Chris, I do appreciate the time, my friend. Always good to catch up.
All right. See you later, brother.